Good morning, everyone. We are about to start, and we are kindly requesting all of us to take our seats so that we can begin. We are requesting those who are outside to please get into the room so that we can start. Those who are still outside, please come in. Welcome the CS, accompanied by members of the Kuccps board, the CEO, and other invited guests are making their way inside the hall. Welcome, CS and your team. They are preparing to take their seats. I want to invite Dr. Jacqueline Alari to come and offer a word of prayer. Just a second. Thank you. We are starting with the national anthem, so all of us, please rise up. While still standing, Sister Jacqueline, please.
Let's pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day and for the opportunity to gather here in this meeting. We acknowledge your presence among us and within us. We seek your guidance in all the deliberations. Bless every member present with humility, respect, and a spirit of cooperation. May our discussions be constructive, our decisions be fair, guided by integrity, and our actions reflect justice and compassion. Help us to listen attentively to one another and to work together in unity for the common good of all our learners. We commit the proceedings of these meetings into your mighty hands. May everything we do today bring honor to you and contribute positively to the growth of our various institutions, our community, and our country at large. We pray this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Let's be seated. Welcome. I now take this opportunity to invite the Chief Executive Officer of Kuccps, Dr. Agnes Masiwahome. Welcome, CEO.
Our chief guest and our CS, the PS representative, the Kuccps board, led by the chair, Mr. Gitwai. We have the chair, HELB board, Honorable Ekwe Thure, the vice chancellors present, and the principals of the various university colleges, the CEOs present, the deputy vice chancellors present, registrars, the management of Kuccps, the members of the Fourth Estate, good morning. Good morning once again. I'm sure we all had a cup of tea. Good morning. I know this is a day that we have all been waiting for. There is anxiety from the members, wondering how many students you have. From the members of the public, the 2025 candidates, since they did their exam last year, this is the day that everybody has been waiting for. It is a beautiful day. We thank God that we have seen this day. Before we start, I would give an opportunity to the chair of Vice Chancellors of Public Universities, Professor Mugendi, to make his remarks. And then we will have the board member who is a representative of the private universities, and we can continue. Thank you. Professor Mugendi, please.
Our chief guest this morning, Honorable Julius Gamba, my fellow colleagues, vice chancellors, and all the invited guests, including principals from Tibet institutions, good morning. I think for us as universities, this is really the day we have been waiting for, so I don't have a lot to say. I'm just waiting for the results, so that then we can move into action. And I want to assure the CES that we are ready, the universities are ready. Of course, a bit of anxiety about the funding, because as you know, we are not sure that we will even be able to pay the salaries for July because of the change in the funding, but we are sure that we are in a safe place. So even as we await and as we deal with the anxieties that we have to deal with as universities, I want to assure the CS that we are ready to receive our students. And once the portal opens and we get our students, we'll move quickly to be able to animate them, and the process of animation will start. And I want to assure everyone that we will be ready for them come September. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
Buenos dias, my fellow VCs, all protocols observed. Good morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Halima Abdullahi. I represent private universities in the board, but I think my chair should be somewhere here for the private universities. So as Mugendi has said, there's nothing much to say today. We are happy to see you. We are all looking forward to the results. It's been long coming. And also to assure the CS that the private universities are ready as well, but they're also waiting for the money as well. So I think we are all in the same space waiting for money, but I think we are ready to receive the students, inshallah, and we continue working together as we build our nation. Thank you so much.
I now want to make a very, very brief presentation so that we see the journey that we have walked to get where we are today, and the students that we have, or the candidates that we have been handling. So, can we have this one? The screen in the middle? Okay, good. So we have been handling the cohort of 2025 KCSE candidates. And this is this was the 13th placement cycle, the 2026-27, since Kuccps was established. And we started off with receiving the results from NEC, then receiving the capacities from the universities, and getting them validated by the Commission for University Education. So cluster weights, we computed the cluster points. This is the student's performance, individual student performance against the national performance. So we have different clusters. All the programs are classified into 18 clusters. So we get to know for every program what, every program has subject requirements. So what is the performance of the student in those subjects, to see in terms of placement what their cluster weight would be. And I know that the issue of cluster points now comes in a lot. So we had the commission approve the capacities. We have the applicants all ranked based on their performance index. The students are then ranked in order of performance in terms of their cluster weight. And when they now start applying, the last student to fill in that capacity sets the cutoff for the program in that university. because we've had universities asking us to reduce their cutoffs for particular programs. We do not set the cutoffs. The students set the cutoffs by how they compete per program. So an example of medicine. I know medicine has been an issue where students feel they got an A, they got an A minus, and they've not been able to get the program. So an example, we had 702 capacities in all the universities. These are both public and private universities. When we look at the students who applied, those who had an A plane were 1,535. And remember, we had 1,900 students getting a plane A. So over 80% applied for that program. For A minus, we had 3,328 students applying. So in total, we had about 6,500 students applying for medicine against a capacity of 702. So the question is, how then do we determine who gets medicine? So we look at the cluster subjects. The cluster subjects are mathematics, chemistry, biology, and a language. Then the students compete in those 4 subjects. Those now that form the cluster subjects, the students get a cluster weight. And then now the weight is what is ranked from the first to the last student, who is student number 6,500. Then we cut it off per university. So if a certain university X has 100 student capacities, then the number 100 forms the cutoff. So there is no university that would have the same cutoff with another university. So for medicine, for example, University of Nairobi, the cutoff was 46. And another university, the cutoff becomes 45. So it's all different based on how many students applied in that university. So this is how the students performed. You can see from A to E. So as universities, our focus was on the C plus and above, that is the 270,508, which was 27.4%. This is an increase from last year. We've seen a steady increase in the number of students qualifying for university placement. For today, we are focusing on those that were applying to universities, given that this other category of TVET, we have had continuous application, continuous placement, and therefore we did not have a major exercise as we've done in previous years. So when we look at how the students applied, those that had a straight A, 96.3% made their applications to Kuccps. So the group that we are talking about today, you can see all the way 75.1%, those that had C plus and above. So what are we saying? That for the students who got C plus and above, we can actually account for 81%, which is a good number, because about 19%, we can see some have gone abroad, some have joined the military, some are joining the universities as self-sponsored students in both our public and our private universities. So I think this for us is a good show that we've been able to reach as many candidates who got C plus and above as possible. In terms of subject performance And this is a table that will be of importance when TSC is making their presentation. You can see how the students performed. Those that were taking the technical courses, aviation, drawing and design, woodwork, electricity, building construction, power mechanics, 85% and above got C+ and above. So the question is, this aligns very well with the new curriculum, the competency-based, where we want to see a lot of technical courses undertaken, and the performance looks good. But the question is, at the university levels, how many of our programs have these courses as one of their cluster subjects, including education, where TSC will be talking about. Now, again, we have our subjects that were not well performed. Chemistry, with only 13% of those who did chemistry getting a C+ and above. Biology, the same. Mathematics, only 19%. Those who did general science, again, only 19% got C+ and above. Now, this translates to, again, a challenge when it comes to placement. We have a lot of science-based courses. But we don't have enough students who have met the minimum requirements to take those courses. It gets, again, brings up the challenge of how many students actually can pursue STEM courses at the university. When we look at the capacities available, Honorable CS, we had over 300,000 capacities. Some capacities will remain unfilled, and a good number of these capacities are in the science subject. So it's a challenge that we need to see an improvement in the performance of our sciences. Biology, especially, where we are at 17%, which is a very slight improvement. Biology had always been one of the challenges because it means we can't get students in agriculture courses, among other STEM courses. Now, in terms of the work that we have done to get here, we have had a lot of county support exercises where we had our officers going around in all the 47 counties. We collaborated very well with agencies like the Ministry of Interior, Ngao, Huduma Kenya, and religious-based institutions. The media was also a great partner, and we really want to thank you, because for some of the media houses, we had free airtime, both in the radios and the TV. And especially in the vernacular radios, we had a lot of free time. So thank you so much. We deployed officers. We did a lot of county career campaigns and sensitizations. We had open days in most of your universities. You allowed us to use your universities as centers of application. We really appreciate. We also had the first National Career Conference and exhibition that was held in January, and some of the universities here actually participated. We will be having another one next year in January, and we hope that we can have more universities coming to exhibit, because it is an opportunity for the young ones to understand and get to know what courses you offer. So we also had learners who were guided on the forecast pathways, aligning that to the job markets and the demands. I think, So as a way forward, we really want to continue strengthening our stakeholder collaboration. This is with the universities and the colleges. We want to improve awareness by having more campaigns and enhancing digital applications for support, supporting students in the making of their choices, their admission, the reporting to institutions. And also we want to strengthen the partnership in career guidance as we encourage the students to join the different programs that we have in our universities. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the continued partnership in expanding equitable access to quality education in Kenya. So before I call the chair of the board, please allow me to give a chance to our stakeholder, Teacher Service Commission. We have the representative of the CEO, Dr. Damburi, please.
Our cabinet secretary, who is our chief guest this morning, the board for Kuccps, distinguished guests, the vice chancellors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Cabinet secretary, allow me to say that we have been having a very cordial consultative forums with the universities because of the competency-based curriculum. And last month, we met with a number of the deans and the vice chancellors when we are launching the new teacher registration framework and sharing with the stakeholders so that finally it ends into Parliament after we took it to the legal committee of Parliament. They requested that we take it back to the stakeholders, and we did it last month. And among the key things for the new teacher registration, our cabinet secretary is the following. One, we have decided that we are aligning the new teacher registration framework with the competence-based education. The previous one, which is in the Code of Regulation, was a bit limiting when the new curriculum came. So that is one of the components we have done. And secondly, we have also aligned the teacher registration framework with the Presidential Working Party recommendations for teacher registration requirements, so that we are able to pick it up as it was and the way moving forward. In our previous teacher registration, we did not have diploma primary in the registration. But now, in the new registration, we have built in the diploma primary, which is a critical entry for our primary teacher training colleges today. And then we have also aligned the diploma secondary teacher education to be having a C plane and a C plus in the two teaching subjects. Before, it was a C plus. And the Presidential Working Party indicated to us C plus meaning grade and the C plus in the two teaching subjects are the minimum entries for the university. So we need them to lower the diploma so that at least we have more people being trained for the diploma secondary to be able to assist us in the junior school teacher training, particularly for the new subjects. So that is has been done, and we are waiting for it to be approved. Then we have also entranced the Montessori curriculum. The Montessori curriculum was not was having teachers, but they were not being registered because it was not approved by KICD. KICD looked at the curriculum, and after it approved them, and the way the teachers are going to be trained, now they approved the curriculum. So Montessori teachers are now going to be registered to be able to teach officially in the institutions in Kenya in a legal manner, because they were doing it before when they were not registered. The other issue that came out in the new framework is the question of the SNE. Our cabinet secretary, the area of SNE was not well amplified. And after we sat with the deans and the various stakeholders, they indeed indicate the areas they want so that the teachers who are doing Bachelor of Education SNE programs can be able to get really registered and be able to teach in the institution. The reason Cabinet Secretary this was done is because we have introduced the stage-based pathway purposely for the SNE. And we realized we didn't have enough teachers who can be able to handle the skill areas for the stage-based pathway. So we introduced the Bachelor of Education and with the special needs areas and hoping that now the universities will be able to pick it up and train the teachers in that area so that we can have enough teachers also for SNE. The other aspect that we have also looked at is the foreign certificates that are coming in Kenya. And we have agreed that they will always be equated by the relevant body, Kenya National Qualification Framework, and with consultation with the Commission for University Education, so that we can be able to pick it up. So that is among the issues that came out in the framework. The other aspect I wanted to address our chief guest is the question of requesting the universities to be able to align themselves now with the training of teachers aligned to the teacher education framework which has been developed by the Commission for University, aligning to the competency-based education. The reason is we require the universities now to train the teachers so that they can, when they come out, we can be able to have qualified teachers who are competency-based. In the Presidential Working Party recommendation, it was agreed the students who exited university from 2023 to date, they must come out of the university when they are competency-based education compliant. And we are really pleading today to the vice chancellors and the deans and the registrars who are here. Please try and find out how you can assist the students who trained in your university and they went out and they are not CBC compliant, so that they can become marketable today, not only in Kenya, but even in the countries that are surrounding us now. They have all transited to the competency-based education. And particularly, we are pleading that you begin to reorganize your curriculums so that you can inbuild courses that have the following subjects. 1, building construction, woodwork, media work, media technology, marine and fisheries, aviation, creative arts, pre-technical, integrated science, home science, music and dance, theater and film, sports and recreation. Because those subjects for senior school, they have the biggest challenge. Remember, some of these subjects are new introductions in the curriculum and they were not there before. We have written an advisory to the universities on this area, and therefore we are pleading that you can be able to revise your subject areas so that at least you can attract these subjects and train. We have Kibabe, Rugari, and Kagumo, which has started training for us at Diploma Secondary, these subjects. But we are saying we need to reach a point where the universities can be able to attract these kind of teachers so that we can really move on and work on them and get enough teachers who are qualified. We know there are universities that have introduced a Bachelor of Education Technology in a certain area. For example, in electricity, in building and construction, in marine and fisheries. That is the way to go. If the universities can be able to pick that and be able to really animate the students on that, that will really be a plus for the universities. The other issue that I want to mention, our chief guest, is the commission has now finalized the teacher export policy, and we are working with the Minister of Interior and the question of exporting teachers. And one of the things that has come out very clearly is that the transcripts that we are producing in the universities are disadvantaging our teachers when they go to be taken out as teachers in the institution in the rest of the world. And one of the things that they have really pleaded is, and this is what I want to pass to you, is that in your academic transcripts, the people who want to export the teachers and who want to employ our teachers out there, they want to see how many credit hours did we do our micro teaching. How many credit hours did we do our TP1 and our TP2? Now, what we have been doing in our transcript, we have just been writing a sentence teaching practice, and we give the number of hours. Now, they want more. And that is an element that is actually making many of our teachers who go out there to be returned back, because they are not coming out very clearly in their transcript to show how much practice. Because out there they want more practice, and they want to know how much practice in the Kenyan education system put in so that our teachers can practice teaching and learning. So please, our universities, let's make our transcript have the micro teaching, a number of hours, and the teaching practice 1 and the teaching practice 2 to be able to improve that aspect for our teachers. Because now there are countries that are willing to pick our teachers, and when they look at the area of practice, it is becoming a challenge. So let's indicate it in their transcripts. The final issue, Cabinet Secretary, I want to mention is that we are going to be starting the Teacher Professional Development Program for teachers. We are going to be making it online, and it's going to be free for the teachers, because we want the teachers to learn as much as possible to keep themselves abreast with what is happening, so that they can keep on learning as they continue with the learning. And we may be partnering with a number of you to come and assist us to come out with content that is relevant, that we want to make sure it moves to the teachers. And we will be getting much of a number of you to assist us, even to share some of the ideas that are going to be coming out. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, my final issue is to request that let the universities that are doing teacher education, please visit the Teacher Service Commission website. Get the documents that have been provided there, and also visit the Ministry of Education website, because we have policy documents for education that we require the universities to share with the teachers. And finally, please let the universities taking education visit the senior schools and find out how they are programming and timetabling their work, so that as you train and as you send your students to be in the teaching practice, then it's going to be a critical issue. And please, let's be keen with the mentorship program for our students who are doing teaching practice in the various schools. And with that, I want to say thank you so much for Kuccps for giving us this opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Dr. Damburi. That was really important, because we know education courses form the bulk of our placement every year. And it is important that we align our training with the demand, both local and international markets, so that those that we train are able to be absorbed in industry. I would like to invite my chair, the chair of the board, Mr. Gitwai. And as he comes, I want to really thank the universities that responded to the 2 letters that we wrote. One on data protection. We will be giving you data on students, personal data with their telephone numbers, so that you are able to follow up. It is important that we sign a contract with you. We already have institutions being sued because of releasing the information we gave you. Secondly, I also want to thank the institutions that have responded to the request that we make our payments, and those that have honored the payment by making payments or payment plans. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to now hand over the program to Mr. Cyrus Gitwai, the chair of the Kuccps board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the Chief Executive. Our chief guest, Mr. Cabinet Secretary for Education, Julius Migos Ogamba. Before I start my statement, I would like you to allow me to introduce to you the members of the board. Please, the members of the board, Kuccps board, could you stand, please, so that I can officially introduce you to the chief guest. I think I'll just go from this, the way you are studying. We are here, we have Professor Mike Kuria, who is the CEO for Q, and you know him very well. He's a member of the board. We have Professor Mugendi, Daniel Mugendi, who is the Vice Chancellor of Embu University and also the Chairman of the Committee of Vice Chancellors, and also he presents public universities. We have my Chief Executive, you have seen her, you know her very well, she's very popular with you. Dr. Wahome, you have been seeing her very many times. We have Professor Friend Baraza, who is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Taita Taveta. He is also a member of the board and he represents public universities. There we have Dr. Halima Abdullahi. She is the Vice Chancellor of Umma University and she represents private universities. Next we have Geoffrey Monari, who is the Chief Executive of HELP. You know him because we've interacted with him. And the list, the last but least is John Gogo, who represents the TPS for education, higher education. Thank you very much. Please, you can sit down. The chief guest, Cabinet Secretary for Education, Julius Ogamba, the Principal Secretary, Representative for Education, the Chairman of the Higher Education Loan Board, Ekue Thuro, whom I recognize. He's a friend of mine. We have worked with him for a long time in our lives of public service. And the Chief Executive, who has been here, the Chief Executive of University Funding Board, Dr. Edwin Wanyonyi is here, and Dr. Ruben Ndamburi, who representing CEO TSC, who has just been here, he has spoken to us, the Vice Chancellors of universities, public and private, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for accepting our invitation to this important occasion, which is a culmination of the Kuccps activities that started in October last year. This is my 4th year as chairman of the placement board, and it gives me immense pleasure to once again host you, our stakeholders, for this annual gathering. Today, we will inform Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education class of 2025 about the university degrees programs that they will be joining starting this September. By completing this year's university placement successfully, The Placement Board has achieved another milestone towards realization of its vision, equitable, fair, and efficient placement service. The board remains committed to its mandate as provided in the University Act 2012. And foremost, the Act mandates the board to coordinate placement of government-sponsored students to universities and colleges. This role gives the placement service a central role in transition of learners from basic to higher education and empowers to rally stakeholders towards common goal. This year, we engaged with stakeholders on various occasions, including developing the new degree placement criteria that was implemented in this placement cycle. Another important function of the board is to disseminate information on available programs, their costs, and areas of study prioritized by the government. This is closely linked to developing career guidance programs for the benefit of students, which is also our mandate. With the board's leadership and oversight, the placement service continues to implement career guidance, sensitive and publicity activities nationally and in counties. Remarkably, early this year, the Placement Board hosted its inaugural National Career Conference and Exhibition. A total of 5,650 participants attended the event, including students, teachers, parents, and Form 4 school leavers. Following the success, the Placement Board has resolved that the event will be held annually, not only in Nairobi, but also in other regions of the country. The placement service also continues to implement other mandates, including collecting and retaining data relating to university and college placement, and advising the government on university and college students' placements. To undertake this role, the board has invested in robust and dynamic ICT infrastructure, which includes a modern database, high-level information security systems. In addition, the placement service has been instrumental in providing data and advisories that have informed government policy decisions geared towards enhancing access to quality higher education and training. Our Cabinet Secretary, the Act further requires the Placement Board to uphold equity and balanced access to university and college education by, among others, developing suitable affirmative action criteria. Similarly, it mandates the board to establish criteria to enable students access the courses for which they applied, taking into account students' qualification and listed priorities. In compliance, the board developed criteria for placement to universities through consultative process that involved universities and professional and regulatory bodies. New criteria removed entry barriers to some programs, aligned programs clusters to address stakeholders' concerns, and expanded possible career pathways for learners taking technical subjects at KCSE level. The new criteria has been implemented for the first time in this placement cycle. Secondly, in processing the university placement applications, the board ensured compliance with its affirmative action policy, which takes care of gender applicants from marginalized regions as per Commission of Revenue Allocation records, persons with disabilities, and the top performing male and female candidate in marginalized counties. As a result, a total of 1,179 applicants benefited from placement through affirmative action. The applicants who, without affirmative action, would have missed their higher and priority programs or missed placement altogether due to competition. The Placement Board continues to oversee implementation of 2023-2024, 2027-2028 strategic plan, which is aligned with the government bottom-up economic transformation agenda. For Kenya to achieve the development goals contained in the BETA, it must develop relevant skills for manufacturing, digital economy, and agriculture sectors. As the body mandate to coordinate student placement and develop career guidance programs, placement service remains focused on enhancing access to tertiary education and strengthening career guidance services to expose learners to opportunities in these priority sectors. In addition, the board is enhancing advisory services and strengthening institutional capacity to ensure that Kuccps services and impact are felt in all parts of the country. With our strategic plan being in fourth year, the Placement Board will soon embark on final evaluation of its achievement and the preparation of new strategic plan to guide the organizations during the next planning period. Chief guest, as we release the 2026-2027 university placement, 2025-2026 university placement results today, I would like to assure students, parents, and our stakeholders that the board has established mechanism to ensure quality assurance of placement process and compliance with the Act, placement criteria, policies, and procedures. Being an ISO 901-2015 certified corporation, the board maintains rigorous internal quality assurance processes. This includes regular internal audits and strict placement validation protocol to ensure every action is compliant with the Act, the placement policy and procedures, and the placement criteria. The board reviewed the process undertaken by the CEO and our team, and it is satisfying that the outcome of this placement process is not only fair, but can also stand up to scrutiny. During the placement application period, the board approved a comprehensive outreach initiative that saw our officers deployed to all 47 counties and provide direct support. Through a landmark partnership with Huduma Kenya Secretariat, we extended outreach to all 59 Huduma centers nationwide, ensuring that professional guidance was available even in most remote areas. Our robust media publicity and advertising and direct outreach to secondary schools ensured that the class of 2025 was well informed, leading to a successful application and placement process. I commend the management and the staff of this exceptional conduct and dedication during this cycle. On behalf of the board, I wish to register our appreciation to all stakeholders, including universities, colleges, regulators, and our partners, for the support and the cooperation extended to Kuccps during this year's student placement activities. As I conclude, the chief guest, I thank the government for giving me the opportunity to lead the placement board to serve Kenya for a second term. The Minister of Education for providing policy leadership to the board, members of the placement board for their dedication, and the CEO and the management team for conducting a transparent, credible, fair, and efficient student placement process. I thank you. I now wish to invite the representative of the PS to come and make comments and invite the CS. But just one, before I do that, I have now seen the chairman of TSC has just arrived, and I would like to recognize his presence. Thank you very much. Karibu. Thank you.
Cabinet Secretary and our chief guest, chairs of various boards, the board of Kuccps, vice chancellors, CEOs of various agencies, principals of colleges, deputy vice chancellors, registrars, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's still morning. Good morning. I stand here on behalf of our Principal Secretary, State Department for Higher Education, Dr. Beatrice Inyangala, who's currently away, but she has sent many, many regards and would have truly loved to be a part of this amazing and auspicious occasion. You know that we've been waiting for this day, as has already been indicated, with anxiety. And it is finally here, especially for the State Department for Higher Education, because it signals welcoming of new students of class of 2025 KCSE. And in September, universities will be expecting new students. And this is truly, truly exciting for us. I would like, on behalf of the State Department for Higher Education, to really commend the great job that Kuccps has done to ensure that this journey has come to an end, and a successful one for that matter. I would also like to indicate that in 2024, when placement was done, Cabinet Secretary, and students were placed in various universities, and then the funding was dispensed, I would like to indicate that in that year, no single student appealed. I think we need a clap. And that's an indication that the tools that were used to dispense the funding, there was major refinement of those tools. And that shows that day by day, we are improving as a State Department, and we are improving as a government to ensure that our students are well funded. Although the Vice Chancellors indicated that funding still remains a big problem, but I know day by day, we are improving and ensuring that this will be done successfully and seamlessly. I would also like to indicate that indeed it shows great collaboration between our funding agencies, Higher Education Loans Board and the Universities Fund, together with the Kuccps, such that we are improving our services to our stakeholders. I would like just to make those very few remarks at this point. I request that we may be upstanding as we welcome our chief guest and our Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Julius Migos Ogamba, to make his remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Winja. Please be seated. The chairperson and board members of the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service, the chief executive officer of the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service, vice chancellors of universities and principals of colleges here present, the chair TSC, the chair HELP, the CEOs here present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning again. I noticed that the room is a bit tense. I don't know whether it's because the CEO made you pay what you owe, or because of the threats that she has given that if you don't pay, you'll not get your numbers. But be that as it may, it's a great day. And I think it's an important day that we need to celebrate. But before that, TSC Chair and Dr. Ndamburi, it just occurred to me that there is a policy that you are working on, which you called teacher export. That word, export, it did not sound too well to me. I don't know about the members here. I'm just going to urge you to relook at that word and see whether you can replace it with something like mobility. Right? It just doesn't sound it doesn't sound that good. Number two, Professor Mugendi, I know funding is at the heart of these institutions here and the challenges that we've been having. And you said you are scared about July. Perhaps that's another reason why this room is very tense. But I want to assure you, just as we've dealt with the problems that we faced before, even the challenges that you might face in July, would resolve them. So I want you to be encouraged that the team you have leading this country, right from His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, is concerned about that funding. And he is doing something about it. And soon, we are going to get a lasting solution to the funding of higher education in this country. This administration has done a lot in the education sector, and we're going to discuss it. And higher education is at the apex of what we need to deliver if we have to move to where? Yes, to Singapore, right? So we are doing something about it, and we'll get a solution to the challenge of funding in the education sector. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by stating that I'm pleased to announce that the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service has completed the 2026-2027 placement cycle of students to universities and colleges. Since 2014, when we began the centralized placement under the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service, there has been significant growth and advancement in the placement sphere. To illustrate the growth, during its first ever placement in June 2014, Kuccps placed a total of 72,338 students to the universities and colleges, compared to the 293,869 students who are being placed today. These numbers tell the story of a tertiary education sector that is progressively maturing, marked with career guidance and increasing access and equity. We have moved from 72,000 to almost 300,000 being placed today. I wanted to repeat that because I saw somewhere that numbers of students that are being placed has gone down to a 7-year low. I don't know whether you saw that somewhere in some media house. That is a fallacy. And we'd encourage those who come up with such stories to please do a bit of research before you put pen to paper and tell people things that only exist probably in their imagination. May I take this early opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to commend the Placement Board and the management for the work that you continue to do and undertake in support of our students in their academic and career aspirations. The government remains steadfast in its resolve to reform the education sector and expand access to quality and relevant education and training. Indeed, no other administration has invested as heavily in our children's education as this administration. The latest affirmation of this is the historic allocation of Kenya shilling 784.5 billion to the education sector, making almost 30% of the budget that comes to our sector. This is the highest allocation to any sector this financial year, 784.5 billion. So again, for those who are saying that education is being starved of funding, do not have their numbers right. In addition to increased funding for the education sector, the government is also expanding opportunities for education, training, including in higher education. In February of this year, ladies and gentlemen, the Bomet University College was formally awarded charter by His Excellency the President, becoming Kenya's 36th fully chartered university. We also have established 2 public constituent colleges in the last financial year. In November last year, we established Makueni University College, and just last month, we established the Kerio Valley University College at or of Elgeyo Marakwet County. This college is set to receive its students this year through or during the transfer period. In addition to these general institutions for higher education, we have also made strides in establishing specialized degree awarding and research institutions. In May of this year, His Excellency the President granted charters to the Kenya Medical Research Institute and to the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. These institutions, focusing exclusively on research, AI, robotics, cybersecurity, and specialized medical and engineering fields, are expected to add impetus to Kenya's journey to the Singaporean dream through groundbreaking research and cutting-edge technology. These new public institutions, in addition to several public universities that have also been established, translate into increased opportunities for higher and specialized education and training for Kenyans. This year, 980,535 students who sat for the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education in 2025 were given an opportunity to apply for placement to any of their desired programs and institutions. Of this number, of the 980,535,000, 270,508 attained the mean grade of C+ and above, and therefore qualified for degree programs. The rest were eligible for placement to various programs offered by our national polytechnics, technical and vocational colleges, the Kenya Medical Training Colleges, teacher training colleges, and the Kenya Utalii College and other tertiary institutions. The Commission for University Education approved a total of 327,157 vacancies in all for 3 public universities and 33 private universities for the financial year for the academic year 2026-2027. We had 327,000 available spaces against the qualified number of 270,000 who got C+ and above. we had more spaces than we had the people or the young people who qualified. Similarly, another 1 million slots are available in public TVET institutions across various ministries. Indeed, for the first time, we have placed students to the Kenya Utalii College. This also adds to the list of other specialized institutions which Kuccps places students, including the Kenya Medical Training College, the Kenya School of Law, and the Morendat Institute of Oil and Gas National Polytechnic. Ladies and gentlemen, a total of 293,869 students have been placed to degree, to diploma level 6, to craft certificate level 5, and arts and certificate level 4 programs across tertiary and higher education institutions. Out of these 293,869, 202,133 applicants have been placed to degree programs. 202,133 applicants have been placed to degree programs out of those who qualified, who are 270,508. 28,246 have been placed to KMTC. 500 applicants have been placed to diploma in law, paralegal studies offered at the Kenya School of Law. 765 were placed to Kenya Utalii College, and 875 have been placed in secondary TTC programs. TVET institutions are rolling out modularized curricula, and these curricula are offered through short, accessible, and certifiable competency units that can be implemented within 3 months to 6 months. This has resulted in shorter durations for skilling, designed to give trainees market-specific skills. Consequently, many trainees now walk to the nearest institutions for focused modules that are offered. They undertake those modules, and once they complete, they graduate, go out there, do work, and come back to continue with their studies as they desire. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, a total of 8,915 students who qualified for degree programs in the 2025 KCSE examinations opted for non-degree programs in tertiary institutions and have also been placed. In other words, out of those 270,000 who qualified to go to degree programs in universities, decided or chose at the very first instance to go to TVET institutions. We recognize that some eligible students did not apply for placement because they may have opted to seek alternative pathways to higher education and training. For example, they might have gone to the disciplined forces of assist training or self-sponsored programs in universities and colleges that did not go through the Kuccps portal. Still, some of them may have missed the opportunity to apply because of other circumstances. I've requested Kuccps to come up with a study program to track and find out where these students are. But if there are those who missed the opportunity to apply for any other reason, we are going to give them a chance to reapply. And we have directed the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service to immediately devise a mechanism to allow late applications for placement. In the same vein, I also call upon all the eligible candidates across the country who may not have applied and who may have missed the opportunity to apply during this concluded cycle to take advantage of this opportunity and apply. Our clarion call, ladies and gentlemen, is that no student should be left behind. As part of career alignment, I know that some students who have been placed today may wish to transfer from one university to another. In order to allow adequate time and opportunity for such transfers this year, we will be extending the transfer window from the period that is normal of 2 weeks to 1 month. Ladies and gentlemen, universities and colleges to which students have been placed are now expected to immediately embark on preparations for admission and communicate appropriate joining instructions. Following the conclusion of the placement process, the higher education financing portal is now open for applications by first-time applicants, available at the following websites: www.hef.co.ke or www.help.co.ke. All placed students interested in securing funding are therefore advised to apply as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, may I take this opportunity to congratulate all the students who have been placed today. I wish you a successful and fulfilling academic journey ahead. It is now my singular honor, ladies and gentlemen, to officially release the 2026-2027 Kuccps Placement Report. Thank you and God bless you. Asanteni sana. I am told that we are very digital. The report is released kwa mtandao. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, CS. As you have rightfully said, the students are now getting their messages. Your announcement allows us to open the system for the students to immediately start getting the messages both on their phones, but also on the system, on their portal. Once they log into their portal, they are able now to know where they have been placed. The universities and university colleges are also able to log in and get the list of the students that have been placed in their institutions to start getting the, to allow them to start issuing the admission letters immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to give the members of the Fourth Estate an opportunity to ask questions. In case they have, but I know they may want to have a press conference out there. Other members present? I don't want to lock out anyone. The CS is here briefly. So in case we want to ask a question to the CS, we will have an opportunity to ask other questions. But for the CS, if we do not have a question for him, that is good. I think we can all confirm that he's doing a good job in the leadership of the ministry. Sindio? I think he deserves a better clap. CS, I wish to request that we now take a photo with you before we can allow you to leave. So a photo with the board members. And then a photo with the staff of Kuccps. Please get ready so that we move faster. Yes.
Upstage, yes. Kuccps staff, please make your way. Kuccps staff. Vice Chancellors, please. VCs. VC. Karibu, karibu, karibu. Nice to see you too. Karibu sana. VC.
Not giving the results.
Results are already out. Even
Distribution
the students.
of the 202.
Even the students already have them.
No, distribution of the 202.
Oh, it is you.
Distribution, yeah, 2002.
It is now. Okay. We are now moving to plenary. If there is any question, any issue, any comment, our people are here to take note of those comments. No question? Okay.
Why can't we get the distribution of the 202,000 like we did last year? Yeah, transparency should be very clear.
Yes. Any other or next question or comment? They don't have to be questions. This is a stakeholder engagement, a stakeholder forum, which is done annually. So, any comments, clarifications? Yes, there is a hand over there.
This thing does not work.
There's a hand right there. Please pass the mic. The first question is the distribution.
This one is not working. It's working. Oh, it's working. Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm Patrick Okempa from Machakos University, Registrar Academic and Student Affairs. My concern is a question and not really a question as such. I commend you for the good work you're doing, but you are facing a challenge in terms of data synchronization across the three bodies that actually the stakeholders, the Kuccps, the university funding, and HELB. The data in the system is not synchronized. So the information is these discrepancies in terms of maybe, let's say the funding, when the fund is done by the funding board, is not equally reflected in the HELB. And also the data in Kuccps does not reflect the changes of the students who have changed their courses equally at HELB and at the funding board. Maybe that can be addressed.
Thank you. Next. On the issue of data, the synchronization of data, I would like Director ICT Kuccps to respond to that. Bearing in mind that we have interfaculty transfers, interinstitutional transfers, people who are coming, deferrals and so on, but let him answer that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, once we release, of course, the CS has released the results. First, the students will receive that results via SMS. We are sending them SMS. They can also log into student portal to access the placement results. The next stage will be the universities and the institution of higher learning accessing that data on institutions portal. Now, as it will be announced, probably today, Higher Education Loans Board or University Fund via hef.co.ke, as announced by the CS, will open for students to make application for funding. At that stage, we will not share any manual file with HELB or the university fund. Already our systems are integrated via what we call APIs. So effective now, when the student logs in at F or HELB, it will pull placement data from Kuccps. What will come probably from next week is transfer. When student makes transfer,
especially what we'll open next week is the inter-institution transfer, where student will move from one institution to another in the same course or another course. That information is pulled real time with help. I want to believe what has been raised is a situation where transfer happens when the funding agencies have already released the funding. The CS made a declaration that money will go before even the student. The money will be at the university. So for the students who are making transfer, we will advise them when making application for transfer that if they have an active application for transfer at Kuccps, they hold submission of application for funding to avoid a situation where HELB will have processed the funding, they have dispersed, then the student starts to make transfer. In terms of communication of the system integration, we are integrated, but there are technicalities where student transfers after funding has been allocated, of which it's always corrected in the next cycle. And the universities, you will admit, sometimes student has made application to transfer. By the time they were making application, they had already submitted and funding dispersed to the other agency. But we are working in synchrony with the two sister institutions to ensure this time we reduce to bare minimum if there will be cases for student going to west and the funding goes to east. But we promise our systems are integrated well enough to exchange that data. But those small challenges we will address.
Thank you very much. And I thought he was also going to mention students who transferred themselves. A student attempted to transfer, to do inter-institutional transfer, but it did not go through. The student moves to the new university where they registered. So you are trying to, the data, the details, the information about the student is in University X, but the student in flesh and blood is in your university. So do not allow a student whose transfer has not been fully processed to be registered in your university, because that was also a challenge you are dealing with. There was also the other question about why don't we do the breakdown of the 200 and plus students who have been placed. You remember in our stakeholder engagement in that time we sat in Kenya School of Government. You, the Vice Chancellor, said each university to be given its own data. You are not interested in the breakdown from other universities. And that is what we noted, and that is what we have been dealing with. Of course, also in consideration of data protection. So you have your numbers from number one to number last who has been placed to your university. Any other question or comment? Yeah, there is.
I think my concern is very clear. Nobody will apply for this help and the other without letters from the university. We are supposed immediately to start preparing letters so that this student uses the letter to apply for the funding. I think what I was just saying, it is good, unless you're telling me you'll expose to the universities, what is the magnitude of our registrars? How many letters are they releasing? Because at the end of the day, that is the most critical elephant in the room from today. And unless I'm really convinced, I don't see why we should be doing things in an opaque way. We should be released telling Kenyatta will have 11,000 or something like that. Or something. Why are we afraid?
Thank you very much, Professor Mutembe. Like I indicated, as we speak, students are already receiving SMSs in their phones. The second stage is students accessing those results on student portal. Before you leave this venue, the universities will have accessed their data. It's being generated as we speak. Professor Mutembe, the CS has just released 20 minutes ago. So give us some time, but my team is seated there generating those data sets. Yes. Sawa sawa. So any other question? Any clarification? With that, I believe we are satisfied. The universities, kindly get in touch with your ICT departments. That data will be in your portals today, and the letter should be generated effective today.
How many have applied? Your students. Yes, how many? You're giving.
We have come to the end of the 2026 Kuccps Stakeholders Forum. We thank you very, very much for honoring our invitation to come. We have lunch at the 8th floor. You are welcome. From here, we get to the lift and we go to 8th floor for lunch. Please make sure you take lunch before you go. Thank you.